If you feel nothing, it's not because you're broken. It's because at some point in this journey, maybe over the course of years, decades, you were trained to not feel anything. You were taught that, trained to shut it off. This is going to be a video on why most men feel numb and don't know why. And I want to start, friends, by saying that numbness, it's not weakness. It really isn't. In a way, it's a strength. We've built this up so much that now it's interfering with our day-to-day life, our ability to build relationships, whether it's with other people or ourselves, most importantly. And in a way, it really is your mind protecting you from a lot of pain, especially now that you do it pretty much on autopilot, kind of just being numb all the time, not even being aware of it, like not even connecting to your feelings. Because if you struggle at all, friends, to just feel anything, right? Like if someone asks you, hey, how you feeling? And you're always like, I'm good. Like, I'm good, I'm fine. There's something wrong with that. It doesn't mean you're broken. Broken means like, I don't know, to me it comes across as like unfixable, right? But no, we can heal. We can work on that. You built this strength up so much that like now you're underdeveloped in this area, right? So it's like you lean into the survival mode of not feeling anything, numbness, where in a healthy way, right? In a healthy version of what I want to be, there's a balance. There are going to be moments where I say, fuck the feelings. Don't want to feel it. I can't feel it. I got to push through. And then there's going to be moments where you're like, I have to show this person I care. I care about this. I feel something here. And you got to be able to do both. That's the healthy version of what I'm trying to build in myself. Maybe you guys are trying to do the same thing, but it's hard. And another thing, when it comes to this survival mode that you find yourself in, right, being numb, is that it not only blocks the pain, it also blocks the joy. You're pretty much good all the time. You're fine all the time, but you're also not being honest. Things that make you sad, you don't really allow them to make you sad. Things that are supposed to make you happy, right, like very happy, they don't allow, like you don't allow yourself to feel very happy and happy, right? So you struggle on that side as well. So then here you are kind of navigating your life in a very straight line, right? Very even keel. And for me, like I mentioned in other videos, I always thought that was a superpower. And it eventually came to burn me. Like that's kind of what this is, right? Just trained, very overdeveloped mode of learning and knowing how to be numb all the time. But let's think about it, right? As a kid, whenever you had a feeling, an honest feeling, I'm hungry, I'm happy, I want, you're nervous, you're scared to go to school, right? Like, don't feel that, don't feel that, don't feel that, don't feel that. Push through, push through, push through, push through. Over time, I was trained, I was taught. And to be really good at that, right, not feeling my feelings, and at some point, I had to just disconnect from them. You know, like if there's a little line connecting Jesse to his feelings, it just got snipped right there. And that's where probably a lot of us are, right? If you're relating to this type of content. That's where I am. Right now, like with 2 years of therapy, it's kind of like this, you know, it kind of like passes itself in the wind. Or I really got to force myself into a morning process that like, I'm like forcing it to like connect every single morning. And it sucks. It really does. But typically, when I think of my own life, maybe you can relate to this, why it happens is because of our childhood. It is because of those things that get hammered and ingrained into our minds. All those reasons to not feel. And when it comes to the cost of this, friends, right? Here's the thing. Over time, you really begin to disconnect. And like I was kind of showing you, when this is completely severed, right? From you, from your feelings, it is severed. That's a big problem. That is going to show up in some way, shape, or form. For me, it showed up very blatant in my relationships, right? My relationship with my partner. We're 9 years together at this point, but in any relationship, friends, I think I've been in a relationship long enough to know that there's going to be work involved at some point, especially when the honeymoon phase ends. And I'll put it this way. If there's no stronger motivation than to live this life alone and not have a companion, a reason to do this work, a reason to expose yourself in this area, is because you want companionship, right, in this life, right? Maybe you want a woman in your life. Maybe you have a woman in your life currently, but you guys are always like bickering, arguing, right, disconnecting. It is likely showing up there, especially if you have these habits that I have, right, where we don't feel. It's also going to show up in areas when like you have bad habits and poor vices, right? There's a lot of movements nowadays that do a lot of surface level work, right? People just see that you drink alcohol. People just see that you do bad vices, right? That's it. It stops there. And then you work out, you get in shape, you just kind of white knuckle your way through, stop the alcohol, stop those bad vices. But they're underneath that, friends, I will say, underneath that, it's probably you not being able to actually feel some of that pain, some of that hurt that you're carrying in this life. Again, back to that numbness. You're numbing yourself with those bad choices, those bad vices, bad habits. And a lot of this can manifest itself, rear its head, as anxiety, depression, isolation in men. So keep this in mind, okay? There is a cost to this. And some of those things that I mentioned, those are some of the signs, right? If you start falling into bad habits, making bad decisions, right? You're anxious, depressed, isolating. Those are all like secondary things, right? To this numbness. Another thing to ask yourself here in terms of the signs, right? Is like ask yourself, when was genuinely the last time that you were happy? Ask yourself, like think about it. You don't have to do it now, but think about it. Think about the last time that you were genuinely sad and that you cried. I don't cry very often. Well, I used to not cry very often. I cry a lot more now because I'm doing the work to connect this shit back here, right, to my feelings. So I cry more. So I want to bring you guys now to a truth that I've kind of found for myself and see where it lands with you. Emotions, being able to feel, evoke emotion, connecting to your feelings, that is a skill. I kind of break it down into it being very underdeveloped in myself and for you if you struggle with this. That's all it is. It doesn't mean you're broken, incapable, can't ever do this, but it is underdeveloped. And there needs to be a wake-up call. There needs to be a pain point in your life that you're like, this hurts so much, I need to do something about this, I need to fix this, I don't want to be this way anymore. I'm hurting too many people. That's a pain point. And part of this truth, for me at least, is I have been working on this, and I have seen improvements. My partner's seen it, I have seen it, I felt it, my partner has felt it. This is something that can be worked on. So as much as it may be discouraging to hear all of this, that's a positive. And I hope you guys can at least leave with that. And I'll tell you, friends, it's not too late. Even though there are moments where I really feel like I'm fucked up and I am broken, I am not. It's just hard. And there's a difference. I just want to say it like this, friends, right? If you get to this point in the video and you're like, but what do I do, right? What is it that I can start with? Google an emotional wheel. Google it. Pick one. Look at all the different emotions on that wheel. Just thinking back for me, the one thing where I really struggled with emotions, and I still struggle today, right? Just a little better, is my emotional vocabulary. How am I supposed to know how to feel if like I don't even know the words? And that to me was actually like a big barrier, as silly as it may sound. So an easy thing for you guys to start with, friends, is just do that. That's my recommendation. And do it daily, sure. Do it every once in a while. Just slowly sit with yourself. Eventually, I want to show you guys a morning process that really has helped me connect to my feelings. And I think a lot of you may benefit from something like that. So in a future video, I will show that to you and share it with you guys. But friends, I really just want to end on a note where I tell you guys, numbness, straight up, isn't manly. That is part of like the masculine energy, right? Is like fuck feelings, not feeling shit, getting shit done regardless. Like I get it and I like it. That on its own is just one area. That alone isn't being a man, at least not to me. Because I think we're more. I think we're capable of much more. We can do that and we can feel our emotions. We can feel our shit, right? If we feel sad, lean into it. If we feel happy, lean into it. And at the same time, don't only just lean into happiness. I know a lot of us, all we feel is happiness and anger, contentment. We don't really feel the sadness, the disappointment, the despair. Like when was the last time we cried? Things like that, right? And apart from that, I would like to end with just a question. Like when was the last time that you felt anything? Good, bad, or do you struggle? Do you struggle to feel? Anyways, friends, I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you guys for watching.